All right, you guys, welcome back. Opening a business at any time can be scary, but what about during a pandemic? Brittany Willis has managed to keep not only things afloat at PJ's Coffee of New Orleans in Dallas, Texas, but she's also providing small business consulting through her company, 828 Enterprises. Thank you, Brittany, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Natalie.
Okay, so last franchise to sign before anything shut down last year. What was it like during that time, and what was going through your mind when that happened?
Excellent question. And thank you for having me. What was going through my mind is simply, do I proceed? How do I do this? I just made a substantial investment. I've got a lease on the line, and, how do I go about doing this? And so the most critical part of that evaluation was really saying, okay, how can I be flexible and agile enough to adapt to this environment? And that's where drive-through came in. When I was initially evaluating how I was going to enter into this opportunity with PJ's Coffee, I was open. I was open to whether or not it was going to be a dine-in only or drive-through. That drive-through wasn't something that was a necessity. But when the pandemic hit, that was a necessity. You can see the end cap here. I was looking for end cap locations that either already had a drive-through constructed or one that could be erected, because last year drive-throughs were up 30% during the pandemic, during a time where other restaurants, as we know, were struggling. And it's because of the convenience, and it's because of the proclivity to kind of have the connotation of being safer during this time. And so, and even as I consult my clients, going into business is not just going in with your plan A. You have to have a plan B through double Z in order to sustain.
Really all about being flexible. There had to be a moment of freak out, though, because how did you overcome the challenges of having this new business at such a tough time, something we've never gone through? How did you make sure that it was going to be successful?
Yes, no, thank you for that question. And I will tell you, I was shaking in my boots. I mean, I literally was in tears when I signed my lease, and I was in tears when I signed my SBA loan. And I'm not a crier. I was terrified. But I leaned out of emotion and I leaned into pragmatism. During my MBA, you do a lot of kind of business cases, and you really learn how to look at the numbers, how to remove emotion and kind of just lean into logic. And so I knew I had identified a white space in the Dallas market. Where my location is on a major thoroughfare with adjacencies to major highways. And if you look at it on a map, it was just a white space. And coffee is huge. People drink 3.5 cups of coffee a day. I knew that this would sustain. And I also, one of the big things I did was also staking out my location. For 3 months, my husband and I parked in a location at morning, noon, in the evening to watch traffic behaviors, and to really allow me to gain comfort in, okay, even through this pandemic, traffic and volume and kind of just that normalcy. And again, the drive-through accessibility is something that's going to work. So it was really rooted in the black and white and the facts, things I could see with my own 2 eyes.
Yeah, being pragmatic and not necessarily freaking out all the way so that you could be successful. You've took what you learned from your years in business and passing it on to other people. Can you tell us now about the other side of the business, which is your consulting business?
Yes. Yeah. So 828 Enterprise Consulting is actually something I kind of stumbled into, if I'm really honest. I've been in corporate America, Fortune 500 companies, for over a decade. And it started with, hey, Brittany, can you look at my resume? Hey, Brittany, can you help me negotiate a salary? And then it became, hey, Brittany, as just more of my generation and millennials started to really get into business for ourselves. They were leaning, a lot of my network began to lean on me for my business background. And not only did I see that I was good at it, that I could take, years working with major retailers like Walmart and Amazon and sitting across some tables and negotiating with them, but I actually loved it. I love arming small businesses and startups with major Fortune 500 knowledge, right? And how to think about product procurement, how to think about profitability, how to think about investment pipelines, how to think about building out your projections in a way that can really enable you to manage your cash flow. And so it just organically happened. And, about 2 years ago, I went ahead and turned it into a full-fledged business, and I'm loving it.
Well, Brittany, we here at Current are proud of you. What a great story, kind of turning things around during this pandemic. I hope we don't owe you for that consultation, though. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All right, you too.